This video follows the 53rd Netley Marsh Steam and Craft Show. Last year in 2024, the organisers donated over £30,000 to local charities and good causes, the highest amount since the show began in 1971. Each day there are dozens of vintage motorcycles being displayed and demonstrated by their proud owners. Apart from the large steam engines, there are many examples of other engines of various scales, many of which have been built or restored by their proud owners. Needless to say, not all the steam engines are in miniature. As well as the agricultural and industrial engines, there are many examples of steam transport from days gone by. When the engines are not performing in the display arena, much of the day is spent polishing and maintaining. Not all exhibits at the show are steam-driven. There are many examples of vintage vehicles all lovingly renovated and brought to the show for everyone to enjoy. There are many examples of horses at the show, including this fun display of knights of old, jousting and fighting for the entertainment of the visitors.
Black Knight, are you ready? Red Knight, are you ready? Let's ready! Oh, good hit from Black Knight to red. The Black Knight wins that pass. No shield to you, Rider. Oh! Both riders of their action, which is a draw, ladies and gentlemen. So, the Black Knight winning this Red Knight. Whatever the test may be. Gentlemen, prepare and set. Blue Knight, are you ready? Red Knight, ready? Oh! A miss! Go again, gentlemen. Let's see something happen. Let's say! Oh! Again, a miss again. A stream of ow! Put it in his arm. The Black Knight again goes. Oh, cheating again. Squire, it looks like the Squire's into Toys R Us, but the weapon set. Oh, is he 5? Oh, you can tell it's an English tournament. We've got some cricket bats. Maybe you're like, oh, actually. Oh my God, they're the same. Oh, the Blue Knights. The Red Knight pulls down back! Well done, Red Knight! Go, give them a cheer! He's on! He's running! Oh, right! That's what I mean! Give him a cheer, Red! Yes?
I believe fireworks
Oh, I thought he was far away. I didn't realise how short he is. I've never seen him from this angle. Ladies and gentlemen, we go again. Oh, very nice. Superb. Superb water staffing. You won't need you. To tell him how bad he has it.
An old favourite at many fairs and carnivals is the Wall of Death, a nail-biting display of motorbike riders defying gravity.
nature of this performance, so far, no insurance company will insure the riders on this track against injury or serious accident. Therefore, the management have kindly allowed us to start up an accident fund of our own. If you have appreciated the riding and would care to help towards this fund, you may do so by dropping any donation you wish onto the floor below. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. If you have enjoyed this show, please recommend it to your friends. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. The rides are very grateful for any and all donations. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. Once again, if you've enjoyed this show, please recommend it to your friends. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all. Thank you. The rides are very grateful for...
The steam engines power up several times during the show and take to the main arena so the audience can see them in action.
Same place as well as the little crawl attraction that we had on the market garden where it came from. That came from over that way. Ramsey Trinity Justice made a lot of fairground equipment, and they also, way back, made some what was known as which were actually at the border of South America. Emperors of Britain. When you look at the barrel as she goes past, this shows. Now you notice this roller is absolutely correct in not having a lid on it. It did have a roof at one time, so I've been told, but the roof was what you asked for when you had it built. You just wanted a steamroller, that is what you got for a steamroller. If you wanted a roof on it, that was an extra. And of course, the roof gave you the ability to have side curves, canvas side curves, so that these could go away working for a period of time. Now the Sentinel steam wagon that we saw on tow going around a little bit earlier, that was in the livery of Kings with Bishop Lillian down near Taunton. Now, Kings were the major road builders down in that part of the countryside. And frequently these steam wagons could tip. They were tyres to have hydraulic tyres, pneumatic tyres. And that was the fact with that green Sentinel steam wagon tipper there on the end of the line. And if you look from the rear here to the green Sentinel tipper on the end of the line ahead of you, you'll see there's a plate on the back of my car which says 20. That's 20 miles an hour. And that, instead of being restricted to 12, will be given at 20. And when that Sentinel came in, you saw it showing you 20 miles an hour in the steam parade before the other engines were in the way.
Very, very important. In this area, there's waterways, canals, rivers, decided we ought to have more. It goes round and round in circles. But dredging is an earth moving you can do with buckets in between the two plough runs. Steam Carlton Wagon Company. Based up at Leeds, and they built their steam wagons there. It wasn't only Bolton who were building steam wagons, there were 2 or 3 other builders as well. Thornbrook, Maine, Yorkshire, quite a number built steam wagons. And now here's Daffodil and Roller, quite often agricultural engines, but Marshall also made heavy, reliable road locomotives as well. Back again then to Thomas Avery with one of his smaller rollers, and this is the type of roller which you would have found working on tarmac. And tarmac wasn't the original thing that the steam rollers put down, which is why the big old rollers are big heavy rollers, because they were crushing stone in. Well, by the time a lot of these rollers were manufactured, they actually were rolling tarmac. And tarmac is the thing of the future. Now we have a Sentinel steam wagon, and this is a DG6
working at the very, very minimum of around 100, 125 pounds just when they're standing there ticking over. And that's not 125 pounds overall in the boiler. When you hold your arm out in front of you, you don't think about it. We're walking along all the time. We are subject to natural air pressure around it. And that's something, I can never remember figures, either 16 or 18 pounds a square inch natural pressure on our bodies for every square inch. Well, 100, 125 pounds per square inch is nothing in the boiler of a steam engine. There's a Wallace and Stevens built at Basingstoke just up the road, worked all the time on the Isle of Wight there. They were blacksmiths to start with. It was a long blacksmith in Walker, Somerset, Dorset, where his family were established blacksmiths already. They were going to work to London to look at that. Towards 100 whole batch of phones for you, and this really is a quick overview of the phone production. So it's not full size, it's not full size, because phones use all sorts of things. Good idea, they even produce a tracked version.
Now, as well as the full-size steam engines, we're also going to see the miniature steam engines. Now, they're not models, they are miniature steam engines. That simply means smaller than the full size. So what's the full size of a steam engine? Well, obviously it's bigger than it is, but they're built to a scale, and they're built to a natural scale, and it's what we term a 12-inch scale. And this is a 9-inch scale, so this is a 3/4 size Foden steamboat. That is a miniature. Somebody's sat at home filing bits of metal on the kitchen table when nobody was looking. If you look at that, that's a home-built, purpose-built, properly built steam engine.
In another area of the showground is the historical display of many agricultural machines which were often found in the forests and farms of the last century. The show is not just about big and noisy machines. The old country crafts are performed and exhibited by many men and women who will gladly explain and demonstrate their skills. Of course, before the advent of the steam engines, the work was performed by horses, many of which are shown at the fair, complete with their traditional regalia. Every year, there are many enthusiasts, mainly farmers, who bring along their old and vintage tractors, most of which will also take their turn in the arena. Inside the marquees are models of ships, planes, and various other types of collectors' hobbies.
Tugboat, that's what we want. What typhoon that? Like we saw that that's still working. We are, if you stop pulling it and keep them out, you will be going.
Give him macro, let him. Make his life out. You are? I should give him macro.
can't do my homework and I can't think.
Even the vocal entertainment is themed towards old-time or traditional music of many genres.
Well, I'm acting like a lovesick fool. He's even got me carrying his books to school. Hey, hey, yes, I'm afraid. Stupid Cupid, stop picking on me. You mix me up for good right from the very start. Hey.
Voluntary rescue services display their methods of emergency assistance and the use of their equipment.
Trying to pull people off these brand new motorways. In those days, no central reservation, no armco barriers or nothing like that. Land is taking the car back. You go down, makes up their own mind what they're going to do. They all have to work as a team. And there you go. One roof taken away. Now the crews can get any casualties with nothing in their way. The ambulance service can treat the casualty for their injuries and obviously maintain C-spine. Skull Museum.
Quite good how they do that, isn't it?
In the marquees, as well as hobby displays, there are dozens of stalls showing and selling traditional crafts from painting and embroidery to food and wine.
Was that in Egypt, same time as us last year? Yeah.
See if I can find it like that, just a little bit before we go.
The Netley Marsh Steam and Craft Show opens every year, usually around July. Details can always be found online at nmscs.org.uk.